The fact that you have 32 solutions in your MarTech stack today, that's a problem because likely 33 of them don't talk to each other.
Smartphones, they are an amazing technology that has revolutionized how consumers behave. But how can you take advantage of them for your mobile marketing? Well, it comes down to technology, right? Let's talk about that. I'm Daniel Burstein. I'm the Senior Director of Content Marketing at Marketing Sherpa and MechLabs Institute, and I'm joined now by Michael Fauscette, the Chief Research Officer of G2 Crowd, a guy that knows a whole heck of a lot about mobile marketing technology. Thanks for joining us, Michael.
Sure, thank you.
So I want to start, just give us a quick overview of G2 Crowd and where you're getting the information we're about to talk about, where you get your data.
Sure. So G2 Crowd is a peer-to-peer technology review site. So it's all focused around B2B. We have software, we have some hardware, and we have services, IT services, VARs, things like that. But the biggest part of the data set is really focused around software and helping buyers find the technology that they need to do whatever, their business problem, solve whatever business problem they need. So we collect data from people who use the software, reviews, although they're considerably larger than just thinking about a Yelp review, right? It's a 36 or so questionnaire, and they go through. Software is organized by category, and we have products. The products, then we collect reviews from users of those products, and then we make that data available in a bunch of different ways on the site so that buyers can come in and do research and help figure out how to solve their business problems with technology.
And how many data points are we talking here?
So data points now, I haven't even done the math lately, but we have nearly 600,000 reviews, and the average number of questions answered on a review is 31. So you can see that's well over 10 million-ish or more now. I should probably do that math at some point again. I've done it before, but it's a whole bunch. And from a report standpoint, from ways to consume the information, we have live stream data that people can use. We have content that's based on those categories to help them understand them. And then we publish about 2,000 reports that are category and product specific every quarter.
Okay, great. So if there's one conjoined word that has been super popular with marketers of late, it's MarTech, right? Take marketing, technology, putting it together, right?
Yeah.
For a creative guy like me, I'm a little far into it, but we got to face it. Technology powers what we do, right?
Yeah, it
so,
does.
So let's get a sense of if marketers there want to really embrace mobile marketing, want to improve what they're doing in mobile marketing, what does the ideal or what does a good MarTech stack look like to account for mobile? And you're shaking your head, so I'm guessing it's not.
No, and it is absolutely one of the hottest and most important areas in marketing, because let's be honest, we're all mobile marketing targets now, and that's exactly, how do we live? We have a smartphone in our pocket, we have a smartwatch on our wrist, and I think there's been a ton of promise around mobile marketing. I still think we're not quite at the realized point of that yet, maybe, but I think if you peel that back, this is a funny place to start, but you've heard this story many times, I'm sure, when you ask other people about tech. The first problem is data. It's always data in marketing. The first problem is how do I know who you are, where you are all the time? And then on top of that, how do I layer services across it that can really deliver some value to the customer so they want to engage with you? So there's some great mobile marketing platforms that help you with parts of that, but underneath that, you really do have to have a plan that says, how do I tie all these pieces together so that I know, Dan, you in a loyalty program versus you on Facebook versus you in my store versus, and how do I put that whole picture together so that I can actually do this in real time and offer you something or come back to you with some sort of value that you want to react to. I think last year a lot of talk was, there was a lot of talk around new technologies like AR, and for years now we've been talking about beacons and being able to geofence and interact with people in real time. You can do that, but it's been a little slower, probably evolving than maybe we'd like, because I think in the end it comes back to that data problem that's not an easy thing to solve, actually.
Yeah, so speaking of that data problem, it's not just a mobile problem, right?
No.
It's because for one, single view of the customer, how do you know the desktop person is the same, and you have legacy systems.
Right.
So maybe just at least give us an idea, what are a few questions that marketers should be asking to find their gaps?
Well, that's, I think the first question is start with that idea that I really do need to figure out who you are everywhere you are. And then if I did that, if I was designing a tech stack that did that, that tied all those pieces together, I would start with a data model that did connect across all the silos. So what I just said was the fact that you have 32 solutions in your MarTech stack today, that's a problem, because likely 33 of them don't talk to each other, right?
Right.
So if you start at that back end and you say, what do I have, what do I need, and how do I connect all those pieces? And I mean, you saw this year, for example, Salesforce, who obviously a big name in the CRM and marketing world. What was their big acquisition? Their acquisition was integration software, MuleSoft. Why? Because of this problem. So it goes back to that fundamental way of looking at a full solution that says I have to integrate across all those different data sources so that I can really put a picture together. And if I can put a picture together, then I can market to you wherever you are. And I don't go. I think thinking of it in mobile creates another silo. So I start to think of it as a complete marketing program that hits you and interacts with you where you want to be interacted with, whether you're on Facebook or Pinterest or in my store. And I think that's the way to really think through mobile marketing successfully. It's all a part of the same picture of that individual, because I want to do individual marketing to that person in the way they want to be interacted with.
So it sounds like maybe a first step for that intrepid marketer out there is to really map out what does their ecosystem look like. And I'd imagine that goes beyond traditional marketing software to getting into other departments, looking at transactional, data warehouses, logistics, fulfillment.
Yes. Well, that's absolutely right. And I think that's the mind shift that we really need to take is we're not, and frankly, this goes through all sorts of enterprise problems. And we start to talk about the digital transformation thing that we're all hear about. The real transformation is the fact that we just need to tie the business together really closely across all those data sources, because guess what? We're trying to do data-driven marketing, data-driven business development, data-driven sale, whatever you want, whatever department you're in. And so if I want, it's a simple thing. I want to be able, you walk into my store, I want to offer you a 20% off coupon because you're a good customer. Well, that sounds pretty easy, except I just tied in a whole bunch of data that's not marketing, right? Because I need to know you're a good customer. You're in the loyalty program. Oh, how long have you been in the loyalty? How much do you do? Transactions. What kind of transactions have you had? So I could develop some history. How do I know what coupon to offer you? Well, I have all this data. If I had all that data and I could analyze that data so that in real time I could offer you a coupon for jeans because you often buy jeans in my store, that's hugely powerful. But if I offer you a coupon for makeup, just because you bought makeup once, that's just not going to be successful, right? So it really does tie together all those pieces of the stack. It really is something that but if I can do it right, I mean, we talk about, some of the larger internet brands, they do a really good job of data-driven marketing. They do an adequate job of data-driven marketing today. It's better than nothing, but if you had all the data tied together so that you could really have a behavioral understanding of the prospect, of the customer, then what could you really offer them that would be relevant to them and give them value? Not in a creepy way, as I would welcome, and I'm willing to give you data if I get that sort of value back. If I walk into the store, you offer me 20% off on the thing that I was thinking about, I might wonder how you knew that, but in the end, I'm getting value out of that, so I'm happy in the relationship as long as you didn't sell my data to somebody didn't want you to. But in general, I think people are more than happy to be in that experience because that's what they want. They want an experience.
So I totally agree with you. Data, technology, they're important. Also, for creative marketer, they're on the more boring and gorpy side. So let's just talk about something a little shiny. Let's talk about something a little shiny to end on, kind of with a cherry on top. So you mentioned AR, augmented reality. What are some of the creative mobile technologies out there that the creatives would really like to get the messaging out there? Once, of course, you mentioned you got the data right.
Once you've done all the good,
right, yeah.
bad,
once you've done the hard
back end stuff,
what's the fun
stuff, right?
Yeah, so.
Right. No, I mean, I think that's, we're moving to a place where experiences can be created in a way that create an amount of engagement that you've never been able to see before. And AR is a great technology for doing that. And you're starting to see some, examples of that. But go back to one of the successes of the last couple of years, the Pokemon Go, experience.
Right.
That's just augmented reality. And think about how engaging that is. If you used that, or if you played that game, or even the game that was before that Niantic did, that was fantastically engaging to geeky people like me, I guess. But the idea that I can augment your experience so that you go into a store, it knows you can interact with me, and I can interact with the store in a way that is creative and interesting to me, and helps me understand some features of a gadget I want to buy, or it helps me understand how I might look in this outfit or whatever. The capability to do that and to take my reality and augment that in a way that's interactive and engaging, that's really powerful, and it would create a sensation that I think from an experience would be a really positive brand experience, and is something that's extremely creative, because you have to think about how you're going to do that, and do I create a game around it? Do I, what do I do to create that level of engagement?
All right, so marries the physical and the digital in one way. So, well, let's end with everything we talked about is powered by technology. Key role in marketers' jobs right now is selecting that best technology. So what are like the 3 questions or so that you advise marketers to ask the platforms or the vendors that they're talking to?
Well, the most fundamental thing to start with is make sure you really understand what outcome you want before you go into this conversation. Because it's easy to be, kind of sold on some exciting new shiny thing, but if it doesn't really fit into this plan that you've laid out and the way you see your evolution as a company, then I mean that's just fundamental. And then go beyond that and you go, okay, how do I make a selection? How do I find the right things that will solve that problem that I now understand really well? I understand my requirements and what I need. And I mean, I'm a little biased because I my day job is a peer review site, but when I survey buyers, I can tell you that the B2B software, which you would think isn't necessarily a place that people are looking for reviews, 92% of the people that I surveyed last year told me that they always check a peer review site before they make a software purchase. Now that says something. And yes, you could go to G2 Crowd. There's a whole bunch of other places you could go to. But the point is, get real data from people who use the solution for the thing you want. People like you, people in the same sort of business as you. So, marketers that are in a similar industry that are solving this same problem. And find out what they did to solve their problem. What's their stack? What tools are they using? What do they think of that? So look at the satisfaction ratings that they have on those products. Look at the vendors and the market presence and the influence that vendor has, so that I understand, do I want bleeding edge technology? Do I want something really established? All those questions. But fundamentally, find people like you to tell you how they solved the problem and that it did work. And then you can trust that it will work, and that's the path I would go down.
I think that people like you sounds key, because we get asked this all the time. You probably get asked it more, is what is the best technology to do X?
Yep.
And probably the right answer is there's no best technology for everyone. There's best technology for your company and your situation.
Right. And in fact, I have a data science team, and they build algorithms to do a lot of different things on the site. But one of the things on the site that we've done is build a selection algorithm that takes inputs from you that talk about your business problem and your industry and your size and features that are important to you, and helps you do an evaluation based on that. When I publish reports about software, I publish reports that not only just compare the product in general, but show you how usable is the product, how easy is it to implement. Did the people who implemented it that were like me get the return that they expected? What's the relationship with the vendor? Do I get good support? All those things are really key to a long-term relationship, because you're talking about in the industry, we like to say, these are my partners, not my customers. But in reality, that's what you want. You want to think of it as a partnership with that vendor, that you're getting that value that you perceived, that you thought you needed to solve the problem, that it really does work. And all of those factors tie together to do that.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you, Michael. A
Sure.
lot of great advice there. So whether you're watching on a desktop computer or on your smartphone, hopefully you got some good advice there to improve the mobile experience for your customers. And you can get a lot more mobile marketing and other tips at marketingsherpa.com.